Recorded live from a local medical facility, it's Brothers in Tights, a professional wrestling podcast. I'm Lex Dahl.
I'm bad, Tracy.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I've been watching the Tour de France.
Yeah, for some reason.
This isn't a podcast about watching stuff,
It
well,
is.
besides wrestling.
What did anything happen in the news of wrestling this week? I didn't have Wi-Fi all week, so I literally don't know.
I honestly, well, I mean, more things about Vince McMahon came out. He continues to no sell it, but I don't remember anything big that happened this week. So,
This is
Control Your Narrative announced a 24 city fall tour.
Oh, are we on it?
Let me check the dates. So they are coming to Green Bay, but I don't know if we want to drive that far for.
Apparently, there's CYN you can watch. I got on YouTube yesterday after I got home from vacation, and there was a thing that said there was a guy that was like, I finally watched CYN. I'm like, oh, you can watch CYN?
I think you can pay for it. I don't know. Flip Gordon is a part of CYN. That's hilarious. Flip Gordon thinks the world is flat. Did you know that?
Does he?
Yeah, that's why he won't get booked in AEW because he's a flat earther.
So match card for Dynamite. Let's run through this real quick. I don't want to take too long on it. The opening
Oh,
thing, like,
before that, the big news of the week is Rhea Ripley has a heart monitor.
when did that happen?
A couple days ago, she tweeted out that she's Iron Man.
Oh, the last thing I saw about Rhea was that someone like attacked her and told her she should die, and she was like, "Hey, this is Demi, not Rhea Ripley," and it was like, "Don't wish wrestlers can die. We're just playing faces or heels."
Well, so the opening match of Dynamite, let's light the fuse.
Well, hold on, I'm reading about Rhea Ripley real quick.
Oh, okay. Well, you tell me when we're gonna light the fuse then.
Looks like the opening match was the street fight for the TNT Championship World Order versus Scorpio Sky. It was a street fight. I said that.
Yeah, you said it twice, but that's okay because it sounded nice. Yeah, and Scorpio Sky was, of course, accompanied with Ethan Page, all ego, Egon Page, and Dan the Man Lambert, who's probably the best character in AEW right now. Yeah, it was a pretty good match. I something about Scorpio Sky's character, I can't stand him. Like he's a good wrestler, but I just can't get into him at all. Something about him, I don't know. I really like Ethan Page. I wish he was the one who was pushed more of the Men of the Year because I think he's just fantastic. And
That's why this looked different. I'm not on AEW's site. I'm on Bleacher Report.
okay.
This is
Um,
what I want.
Wardlow continues to be just one of the best big men in wrestling. He's honestly, I think, the best big man in wrestling since Ryback, and
I better stop.
he did of course, his famous senton in this match, which looks an awful lot like a swanton, but they tell me it's a senton, so I think it's a senton. But yeah, which just continues to be amazing that he can pull that off for such a big guy, and he does his moonsault all the time. He's great. He's a really, really cool guy, and I'm so
The
happy
Bleacher
that he
Report
won the title because he should have won it, months ago, but he had to beat MJF first, I guess. So
has a little clip of him winning, so I'm gonna watch that real quick. So I watched it. It was just the last power bomb in the pin. Kind of wasn't worth watching. I thought it was gonna show a little bit more. Okay, so that opened the show.
yes, and Wardlow is the
Oh yes,
new
this was
TNT
so this was
Championship.
in the Blue Cross Arena at the War Memorial in Rochester, New York.
Hey, have you ever noticed that the TNT Championship it's named TNT, but like because the channel that it used to be on was TNT, but also because Dynamite is TNT?
So, anyways, next it says that Smart Mark Sterling was backstage with Tony Nese trying to get Swerve Strickland removed from the roster for being a snake.
Yes.
Keith Lee refused
He
to sign the petition because he said Strickland is still his partner.
yeah, he showed up and was like, "Hey, Keith Lee, we think Swerve Strickland's a snake, a
Like a rep,
slithery, stupid snake,
like a
and
reptile person.
like a Randy Orton."
Okay,
They're like, "Hey, he looks an awful lot like this," and they held up a cardboard cutout of Randy Orton,
I can
and
see that. Yeah,
but anyways, so then Keith Lee was like, "Well, no, yeah, well, me and Swerve been having issues recently, but like." That guy is my tag team partner, and we're still getting those wins. And until we stop getting those wins, that guy's gonna be my tag team partner forever, yo.
didn't
I don't know why. I
mention.
don't know why I added the yo at the end because Keith Lee does not talk like that.
Did not mention that the reason you're doing this recap is because I was on vacation and couldn't watch Dynamite.
Yeah, because
Next,
I know more about wrestling than you, specifically in the last week.
we heard from Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, and they have been here. Looks like Matt Hardy came out.
Yes. So let me tell you about this. Christian Cage gave another really great promo here. Like the dude is just on fire constantly. He proves himself every week to be better than Edge all the time. But he had a savage line when he was going after Matt Hardy where he said that Matt Hardy needs to shut the hell up because every time he talks, he makes Jeff sound like the sober one.
Ooh.
And the crowd was like, "Oh."
Yeah, they don't have that in the manuscript here. Tony Schiavone was backstage with Jake Hager and Claudio Castagnoli.
Jake Hager, he legit name dropped WWE. He was like, "Yeah, when we used to work together in WWE, it was weird."
That's not in the manuscript either.
Yeah, he name dropped WWE. It was really weird. It was a weird segment, but I'm very excited to see their match. I have not watched Rampage in the last 2 weeks, so I actually have 2 episodes of Rampage to catch up on.
Anyways, then the Butcher and the Blade versus Swerve and Our Glory.
This was a
How was it?
decent little match. I don't have much to say about it. It was decent though. I mean,
Eddie Kingston,
I like both the teams. Specifically, Swerve Strickland continues to impress me, and Keith Lee's pretty cool too. But Swerve is of that team. He's my guy, and I want to see him win a world title soon. Well, not soon, but in the future. You know what I mean. And then the Butcher and the Blade, of course, are just fucking fantastic.
now there's a triple threat tag team match between the Young Bucks, Hobbs and Starks, and Swerve and Our Glory.
Yep.
So then Eddie Kingston was interviewed in the ring by Tony Schiavone, and then Jericho and the Appreciation Society came off and attacked Ruby. So why is this feud still going?
Because Kingston wants to taste Jericho's blood or some shit like that.
Well,
I don't
just
know.
let him do it. We want blood and guts. It's done. We don't want this anymore.
Well, anyway, this was the stupidest thing I've ever seen because how they did it, I'm gonna have to explain this for
I
the
see it
audio
all right
listeners.
here.
So they were attacking Ruby, and then who the fuck is it? Ty Conti, who's with Sammy
Yeah.
Guevara? Okay, so
Yeah.
Ty Conti, she's attacking Ruby Soho, and then she opens the car door, and she puts Ruby's hand in the car door. Well, her hand falls because she's selling it, but then Ruby realizes, oh, she's gonna slam the car door on me. So then Ruby lifts her own hand and puts it into place in the doorway, and then Ty Conti slams the door on her. And I was like, this is stupid.
Next up, we had the Dark Order came out to the ring.
And what made it even dumber was that was a pre-taped segment, like they taped it earlier in the day, so no one watched it and went, "Oh, hey Ruby, you actually put your hand there. We should retake that." They just left it. It's weird.
John Silver came out, and then Evil Uno said that the six of us are here to stay. And then -1 took to the microphone, but was interrupted by QT Marshall. Says, I get it, your dad's from Rochester, your dad's a legend, but you take after your mother. I didn't bring my friends out here, -1, so let's face each other man to man. This is a 7-year-old, right?
No, he's 11.
Okay. So then it says, Heyman Adam Page's music hit, and Page walked to send QT into the ring. The Dark Order whooped QT. Marshall, -1, said, QT, I would pin you right now, but I'm going to wait until I'm 18.
No, he said 19.
It says 18 in the manuscript.
What he said is, I will pin you right now, but I'm going to wait until I'm 19.
Well, -1 putting QT on notice. I don't want to see that match in 7 years.
I don't like QT now. Why would I like him in 7 years?
Yeah. Jim Ross joined the broadcast team for the second hour Dynamite. Pentaskira versus Rush. Who won this? And
it's Roosh.
Roosh, right? Who won this?
I believe Roosh did.
Lobo and then
so I've heard a lot of people talking about this match on Twitter, and by heard I mean read, and and people are have been saying that they really liked it or whatever, and I could not get into this match for whatever reason. Just I didn't like the pace of it or whatever. I like both the guys. Like I've seen them wrestle before, and I like them, but just for whatever reason I couldn't get into this one.
But it says backstage, Saddam Sin, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal were celebrating. I don't care about any of those segments.
Yes, I want to buy Death Before Dishonor, I have so little interest in that match specifically, though.
Smart Mark Sterling was backstage with Tony Nese. They approached Orange Cassidy and best friends. Sterling said Orange Cassidy's signature was the last one they needed to remove Sir Strickland from the roster. Why did everyone sign this petition? Cassidy said he wouldn't do anything without his lawyer present. Dan hasn't appeared as an actor. His lawyer Cassidy agreed to a match with Nice's Friday on Rampage. Anyway, the Acclaimed versus and the Gun Club. Where I was on vacation, there was a Gun Club Road.
Wow.
I wanted to pull over and take a sign with it.
All right.
Versus Fuego del Sol and Ruffin It, which is Leon Ruffin, Bear Bronson, and Bear Boulder.
All right. So let me tell you, I need you for one last time. Scissor me, daddy ass. They came out, the Guns, the ass boys, they didn't let the Acclaimed, they didn't let Max get his rap in, and they didn't let Anthony Bowen say the city name. They just got right in there, okay? Well, then they tensions were high throughout the whole match, okay? It came down to, came down to the end. You already know who won, obviously the teams that they're pushing. And not the Chopper Squad. This was Leon Ruff's first ever appearance on Dynamite, though, which is cool. So the other team, the Guns, got the pin after the Acclaim did all the work in the match, and then so they were bickering after the match, and they started to have fight, and Billy Gunn came in and separated them, and it looked like he was about to be like, "Hey, my two ass boys, you get the hell out of here because these are my new ass boys." And Anthony Bowens went for some scissoring, and Billy Gunn turned on. Well, he didn't really turn because they were all heels, but he attacked Anthony Bowens and they laid out the Acclaimed. So I think the Acclaimed are going face, which is great because everyone loves the Acclaimed. They're one of the best tag teams in AEW and they deserve the titles soon, I would think. Yes, I'm excited to see where this goes. And I hope the Ass Boys don't look like total clowns or asses after the end of this feud. And I really hope we get an Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn singles match. I mean, right? And if they do like an Extreme Rules type pay-per-view or something, well, every pay-per-view for AEW is like that, but they could do a scissors match and have Arn Anderson and they could bring Psycho Sid in to commentate it.
Did they have a scissors match back in the day?
No, there was a backstage incident where Psycho Sid and Arn Anderson stabbed each other with scissors. In a backstage fight, and they both had to be taken to hospital, and like they both had to get stitches and shit because they like stabbed each other. You can Google it. It's a
Miro. Then Miro is backstage. Words from Malachi Black.
God, what a match that would be, right?
This tag team Thunderstorm, Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm versus the Native Beast Nyla Rose and the Problem Marina Shafir. I assume Rose and Storm won. Yep, Thunderstorm spiked Marina with a pile driver combo for the win. Is that a new tag team? They
don't know.
call them Thunderstorm for this website. This is awesome. Tony Schiavone was backstage with
Never mind. There's no Thunderstorm Power Rangers. I was thinking of Ninja Storm.
Tony Schiavone was backstage with TBS champion Jade Cargill and the Baddies. Interim Baddies Layla Gray. Okay, so more of her. Backstage, then immediately after, Tony Schiavone interviewed Daniel Garcia. He said that he'd see Will Yu to Death Before Dishonor.
That is the biggest draw on the card of Death Before Dishonor for me right now. Like I want to spend $50 for that match specifically.
ROH World Tag Team Champions FTR challenges the Briscoes to a rematch of Death Before Dishonor. I like that all the Briscoe stuff has to happen on ROH shows because no one
Warner Media doesn't want to hire him.
Will not let them on Dynamite or Rampage or anything. AEW Interim World Championship match: Blackpool Combat Club John Moxley versus House of Black's Brody King.
This was a slobber knocker, as JR would say.
Oh, it ended by referee stoppage or just a technical submission. As Moxley held on with his bulldog choke, and ref Paul Turner had no choice but to stop the match as Brody King could not continue.
Yes, because he did not tap out.
What are we talking about today besides Dynamite? That was the quick Dynamite, just things that happened.
We're going to play a round of Guess That Song. Shapoopy, the girl that's hard to get.
Cut this. We're not doing that.
So I thought we could talk about our 10 favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
I put no thought into this,
Yeah,
So
you didn't give me any prep to plan a
so
list.
actually, I got an idea. Let's not do top 10. Let's do
Yeah,
something different. We're gonna do top 5 favorite wrestlers of each decade.
1940, go.
George
I
Hackenschmidt,
I was just gonna say George Hackenschmidt. Who's that one guy I really
Lu-
like? Mountain
Luthez,
Haystack. Who? Oh,
Luthez.
I like Haystacks Calhoun. I'm a big Haystacks Calhoun fan. There was also that one guy I think named like Mountain Man McGee or something like that. I think he was Haystacks tag team partner. He's cool.
All wrestlers back in the day had the dumbest ring names.
They're bringing it back.
All right, so when should we start? Because I don't like wrestling from the olden times.
We're talking 80s.
Yeah, all right. Top 5 favorite wrestlers of the 80s. These are in no order, because
Oh,
otherwise it'll be okay.
well, number one is Randy Savage. I'll put it in order.
Okay. What do you like about Randy Savage?
He's so good.
Is
He's
he?
so good. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
See, everybody says that, and I don't see it.
How do you not see it?
Maybe it's because I don't watch any of his matches.
You need to.
Well, I want to start watching some WCW stuff. So,
Talk about some Savage stuff while I try to get this sneeze out. It's like right here.
all right. Well, I don't really know a whole lot about him. I haven't seen many of his matches. I notoriously or famously, I don't know, refused to watch WrestleMania 3 with his
What do you mean?
match with Steamboat.
What do you refuse about that?
I've never seen it. And
You've never seen it?
you and Ken are always like, "Oh, you gotta see it. You gotta see it." And I'm like, "No, I'll never see it."
That match is incredible. His wrestling.
Okay. One point I will give to Savage is that he is the easiest wrestler to do an impression of.
Is he?
Yeah. Can you not do
Dexter,
one?
I can do one.
Ooh, yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Slim Jim follows me on Twitter.
Yeah. Do they?
Yeah.
No, they don't.
I will pull it up.
I don't believe you.
I'm pulling it up. Dexter Loomis is really easy to do an impression of. Because he didn't talk his entire WWE career.
Yeah, I
just-
thought we were both just sitting in silence for a second there to do it. Huh, that's crazy that Slim Jim follows you. Okay, do you want one of my favorite wrestlers from the 80s?
Yeah, yeah, go with your favorite.
Roddy Piper. I almost said
Yeah.
Rowdy Piper.
He was pretty good.
He is, I think, one of the greatest heels of all time. Of course, he led to the success of some of my favorite heels down the line that we will get to, or he was the inspiration for them. But yeah, he's fantastic. He's a great character and one of the best in the business, I think.
Now, are we talking wrestlers in their prime for their decade, or if a wrestler started in the 80s, I can count them now?
I don't know. I don't know. He's
Okay.
just, I think of Piper as an 80s wrestler.
No, he is in 80s. I'm thinking of other people that were in the 80s, but I think also got going in the 90s.
Okay, yeah, like Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a 90s wrestler.
Okay. I think I'm number 2. I'm gonna go with Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig.
Did you hear that he did you know that he died?
What?
Yeah, Kurt Hennig died.
Wow. I gotta tell Kat.
I actually just was on Wikipedia the other day and I clicked onto his page and I was like, wait, he died in 2003? Nearly 2 decades ago?
It's insane.
A decade before we became wrestling fans? I don't believe
22 decades ago?
Yeah.
That's not right. I don't even think he was alive 22 decades ago. That was so long ago.
It was 200, would have been what, 210 years ago?
Yeah, 220 years ago, 22 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one was alive. No wrestler was alive.
Nobody was alive 220 years ago.
I don't know how much Kurt Hennig you've watched though.
Not the.
So good.
I don't know how much I've seen of him.
God, he was like Mr. Perfect was just, oh my God. I don't know how much you know about how they made those vignettes. Have you seen all of his vignettes?
I've seen most of his vignettes.
They did the weird sports vignettes.
Yes, where he was better than you. He does the dunk and
He
stuff.
does the dunk. He does like a hole in one. He does a bowl and strike. So he was perfect. He kept nailing all of those shots in practice. And then as soon as they would record, he would fail because he would get like this weird camera shyness or something. So they had to end up telling him that they weren't recording. They'd be like, well, let's try another practice one. And then they'd film it and he'd finally get it again.
Huh.
It was every time they told him they hit record, he would fail. And then as soon as they told him they weren't recording, he'd make it again. Yeah, his entire gimmick was he got signed and Vince wanted him to have like a sports gimmick.
Yeah, because it
And
was
he was,
between the Mr. Perfect gimmick was between him and Terry Taylor. Is that his name? Who's Red
yeah,
Rooster? It's
Terry
Terry
Taylor.
Taylor. Yeah, okay.
And he asked, he had a sports gimmick for Kurt, and he asked what sports he played, and he was like basketball, golf, bowling, I do it all. And he was like, okay, well, let's see what you got. And so he kind of started doing the Mr. Perfect, and it worked out, and it was great because he was such a good wrestler too.
And one of the best bumpers in the business. He bumped like it was nobody's business, except his own business, the wrestling business.
Who's your number two?
God. Can I tell you who's not my number two?
Hulk Hogan?
No, George the Animal Steel. I don't like
Yeah,
that guy.
I hate him too.
He's way too hairy. And that sounds like I'm being derogatory, but I just don't like it. I wouldn't book someone like that. I'd be like, I'm sorry, you have to shave. I can't do it. I'm sorry. What are we talking about? 80s wrestlers.
He's fucking 80s wrestler.
I said Piper. I'm gonna go with Bret Hart. I know he was a tag team guy in the 80s, but
So that's why I was asking about if they're 80s or 90s because I wanted to say Owen Hart, but you said that they like Stone Cold's a 90s guy and Bret's definitely a 90s guy.
Bret is definitely an 80s and 90s guy because he was wrestling in the 80s and 90s. The Stone Cold, when did he debut in like 88, 87? Would you count him in as one of the best of the 80s? He was a
No,
nobody then.
he
It's
was
like,
also
okay, would you count
he
CM
was
Punk as one of the best of the 90s? No.
no, but I will say that Stone Cold was better in the 80s than he was in the 90s.
As a technical wrestler, yeah, probably. He was a great technical wrestler up until the mid 90s, though. What was that,
Also,
like 96?
also because I just hate Stone Cold.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day. Wrestlers we don't like.
Anyways, you went with Bret Hart.
Yeah, I think his tag run is really fantastic in the 80s. You know, he was in was it the Hart Foundation? I always get them mixed up with the Hart Dynasty, and I can never remember which is which. But he was in the Hart Foundation with Jim Neidhart, and I just think they were fantastic, and they have so many classic matches. I really like their match at WrestleMania 2. I believe it is between the Killer
WrestleMania,
Bees, right?
no, WrestleMania 2 is when Bret Hart won the Battle Royal.
Okay, well, then I am misremembering which WrestleMania it is, but he and
I don't know
Neidhart
if he
have
won.
a
I think
tag team
that's the one
match.
when,
Maybe
yeah,
it's even a SummerSlam. It's them versus the Killer Bees, I'm pretty sure,
that's
right?
a SummerSlam, I think.
Okay. That's a really good match. I like that match a lot.
Pretty sure he won the Battle Royal. Andre the Giant won by last eliminating Bret Hart. It was the WWF versus NFL Battle Royal. My number three, I'm going with a hot take. I'm going with someone that I think is underrated.
Okay.
I'm going with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Okay. I don't think he's underrated. He's one of the
I
best
think he
heel
is.
characters of all time.
Yeah, for his heel work outside the ring. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about his actual heel work in the ring.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen many of his matches. I've seen more of his vignettes and stuff.
I thought he was really good.
Segments.
I think he should have been credited with his stupid, 1 minute title reign. Like Andre, hand the title because you can technically relinquish the title to anyone.
I think yeah, they did it with that one the hardcore championship or whatever where they gave it to that one guy. He was just like, hey, here's my title. It was Midian, maybe? Or maybe it was a
I don't
European
know.
title. I don't know, anyways.
And also,
I
see,
think it works better with his character that he never held it.
but they also said that, you can't buy a title back then. But then he bought the 24/7 championship and they allowed that title change. What the hell, WB? Long-term storytelling. But anyway,
Do you think
uh,
WWE pays attention to its own canon?
yeah, like you can get injured and have to relinquish your title, and you can say, like, I'm relinquishing the title to this person.
Yeah.
That's been done, I think. So it was just weird.
I'm gonna go with Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
No, you're not.
Ed Leslie.
How many beefcake matches have you watched?
At least four.
No,
Um, I think he's really underrated.
I'm not
Uh,
letting you count this. No, you just ran out of 80s wrestlers that you could think of, and you remembered as Leslie existed. No.
all
You do
right.
not like Ed Leslie.
No, I do not like Ed Leslie, the man of a thousand gimmicks. Okay, yeah, I'll go with Richie the Dragon Steamboat. I meant to say Ricky the
I
Dragon
would say
Steamboat.
Richie. We're a
And
couple decades ahead.
Ricky Steamboat, I think he's a fantastic technical wrestler and a really good wrestler and a really good wrestler, like big guy wrestler.
I'm also gonna go with Ricky Steamboat for my number 4. He was who I was gonna
Okay.
say. I could say it better than you that he's a
A
very
good
great.
wrestler.
Yeah, he's also our mom's favorite wrestler.
Okay. Yeah, besides a different guy, I guess.
No, Steamboat's still our favorite over the other
Oh,
guy.
oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your number
So,
4?
oh, Jesus Christ, there's more of these things.
You said
Um,
5.
I know, but I didn't realize I had to think of five wrestlers from the 80s.
You're the one that was like, so where should we start? Oh, what the 80s? I think I got that.
But I'm realizing I don't know many matches of people. I like Adrian Adonis. I liked his gimmick. I'll go with Adrian Adonis.
Okay.
He had a cool gimmick. I like it.
My number 5.
I know who my five is gonna be.
I think I'm gonna go with Jake Roberts.
Wow, that's a total oddball choice.
I like him. I like watching him. He was great on the mic.
See, I think of
Uh,
him as a 2000s wrestler.
I think that was when he was in his prime, but I think he's someone that all of his a lot of his old feuds were memorable. He had some great matches. He had I just remembered another one that's great.
I can I change my number four?
Yeah,
Rick Rude.
that's what I was just gonna say. That's what I just remembered existed. Yeah,
Yep.
you could have used him as your 5, but you said you had your 5.
I already
Yeah,
have my five.
I do
Yes.
really like Jake though. I thought he was really good. He feuded with everyone I liked back in the day. He had great feuds, great on the mic, just fantastic.
He arguably has the greatest promo in wrestling history.
I don't know about the greatest. I mean,
It's the most memorable.
Senior Joe is more memorable than that one.
Yeah, but it's the one promo that you have memorized.
That I have memorized.
Yeah, because I don't think you even know many promos.
I think I might. I don't know all of the Scott Steiner one because the math is so fucking ridiculous. But I have a good grasp on that.
All right, so are we
I
at number
also
five?
I have the NXT Arrival pre-show Shield promo.
I love that promo so
With your
much.
stupid ugly beards and your stupid camel mask. Camel mask. It's a llama. I was just at the zoo.
Gentlemen, I was
Well,
just at the zoo last week.
it's a lamb, gentlemen. That's beside the point. That's why he was the architect. That's why they called Seth Rollins the architect. He kept the Shield together from that promo on.
Are we at
Who's your
number
number
five?
5? Yeah.
Dino Bravo.
What?
I think Dino Bravo is a fantastic wrestler. He had a great look to him. He was great in the ring. He was a muscle guy and a technical guy. He could do it all. I think he was a really good wrestler. And he has one of the craziest fucking deaths in wrestling history. Look
Yeah, I
it
was
up
gonna
if
say,
you
you know what
can
he
write
couldn't
about it.
do? You know what he couldn't do? He couldn't defend himself.
He got shot in the head.
I thought he got stabbed.
No, he got shot in the head while he was sitting at his house. Because
I don't think that's
he was in the mafia because he was like
yeah.
importing illegal cigarettes or something like that.
I don't think that's the craziest wrestler death.
It's never been
Because
solved.
well, that one guy that they found slathered in Vaseline after having sex with like 6 prostitutes high in coke or whatever. I
He
think
went
that's
to prison though. Like he didn't die from that.
he didn't. I thought that's how they found him dead.
No.
Oh,
They arrested him like that. That's Herb Abrams.
yeah. Do we want to do least favorite 80s or do you not know?
No,
You can't name that many.
Hogan, Warrior. I
Ed
don't think
Leslie.
No, he's great. I don't think Andre the Giant's a very good wrestler, if I'm being honest.
No, don't say that to Dad though.
George the Animal Steel, he's a
Yeah.
terrible wrestler.
What if George Animal Steel is great? Like, it's the same thing with Big Damo. Apparently, he's incredible, but I can't get over the body hair. But like,
Yeah.
he was the inaugural WCPW champion.
And it's weird because I love Cesaro and Christian's body hair. I think they have really great body hair, but I
It's
don't
not
like
that
it.
much.
It's the
It's
fact that
the
it
back.
sticks up.
It's back hair. I have long said that I have an idea for like a promo that like if I ever gave Big Damo a title, I always envisioned I'd give him a tag title. This is horrible, but he'd be tag champs, and then he'd get beat for the titles, and I would come out with new tag team championship belts and hand them to the new champs and be like, "Hey, I don't think you guys want to touch those. I don't even think the ref wanted to touch those. Here's some new belts. These are on me. No one wants that." I had that idea, and I'm like,
There's
that would just
there's there's hair sticking out of it.
be. I don't know if it's rude to book someone. If I was like, Damo, I got this fucking hilarious idea. I
Well,
want to make you a tag champ. And you'd be like, oh, cool. I'm like, listen,
what's
this
hilarious
is
about that?
the entire reason for this fucking thing is this last promo when you lose the title.
Wait, so you read him the promo and then you go,
Yeah.
how many days do you want as a tag team champion for you to be okay with this promo?
How long? I don't know. Maybe he's a really nice guy.
How long do you need to be champion?
He might be cool about it. I mean, he obviously knows he's hairy, right?
Yeah. It's like, how would I have pitched my most
Bruno?
famous, yeah, to Bruno Sammartino, where I wanted
He would
him
not have
to,
done it.
he,
He would
if I was the one signing his goddamn checks, he would have.
Hey, 90s. Who's your favorite 90s wrestler?
Bret Hart.
No, you can't say him again. You used him in the 80s.
I can say him in the 90s.
Nope, that's the compromise I'm making with you put him in the 80s.
Well, he's better in the 90s.
Then use him as the 90s and give your fucking Adonis back in the 80s.
All right, sure, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
care. Bret Hart, he's great. The best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be.
Yeah, for Malachi Black is the best fucking person that's ever stepped in a ring, and holy shit. Yeah, I gotta think about 90s guys.
All right, I'll say 5 really fast.
You can't know. I'm thinking we're going back and forth.
Bret Hart, he's the best there is. You can't deny it. Name a bad Bret Hart. Bret Hart got a good match out of Yokozuna. He got a good match out of everybody he worked with. They should have
I'm
put him
going
against. He had a great match with Tom McGee or Tim McGee, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. And
I'm
then
going
like they should have put him against fucking Giant Gonzalez and be like, hey, have a good match with this fucking tall ass broomstick of a man.
well, you know my dream booking of telling
The
of
Great
telling
Khali versus Giant Gonzalez.
no of me going to Goldberg and saying, "Hey man, you can't wrestle, but AJ Styles can have a good match with anyone, so you're gonna go face him in a 30-minute Iron Man match."
I don't think it'd be good. I honestly don't think that'd be a good match.
Yeah.
I don't think Styles is that good. I genuinely
You don't think he's that good to make
don't.
Goldberg look good?
I don't. I think Danielson maybe is, but Styles, I do not.
I'm going in no particular order for 90s, but just because I wanted to say him in the 80s, I'm going with Owen Hart.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Yeah.
Owen's better than Brett.
I disagree because I don't think I don't know. I just technically Brett is better, but I think Owen had more flash in his style, and he wrestled more of a cruiserweight style, where he did springboard stuff. And because he wrestled in Japan and all that, I think he really popularized the cruiserweight style in America. So that's cool.
Who's your number 2?
Oh, do you not have anything to say about Owen Hart? I just
Oh,
took over. I just took over. I'm sorry.
I said stuff about it. I like him. I think he's better than Brett.
Their match at WrestleMania 10 is fucking incredible. We should do
Strong
a
man.
future episode topic. We should do our favorite matches.
You know what? I also want to do favorite and least favorite finishers.
Oh, that's a good episode
Potentially.
idea. That's a good episode idea.
I also want to sit down with you one day and watch WrestleMania 9.
I've seen WrestleMania 9.
I love WrestleMania 9, and everyone gives it a bad rap.
Well, the first pay-per-view review I want to do is a WCW pay-per-view.
Yes,
I've
I know.
never watched one all the way through.
Who's your number? I know which one I want to watch.
Halloween
I
Havoc
picked it.
1998.
No, I picked it.
How
I
is it
want to
not? How come it's not Halloween Havoc 1998?
because it's even better. It's my favorite match type.
What?
I want to watch one of the World War Threes with you because you say it's too much and I say it's the best match type. 3 rings, 60 men, 20 men in each ring. Duke it out in a battle royal. When there's 20 men left, they join in one ring. Then they have a normal battle royal. How is that not the best match type? How is that too much? The winner gets a world title opportunity. Oh my God, that's awesome.
It's 2 rings too much. All right.
That's 2 rings too much. So 2 rings is you don't like war games. You don't like blood and guts.
I don't want to get into this right now. We'll watch World
We're
War
watching a World War III, not the
All
one that
right.
I already watched because I know the winners.
Oh yeah, you don't like watching a match again.
Who's your yeah, well, it's honestly as much as I love battle royals and I've watched so many of them over and over again, it's hard to watch a battle royal again because you know the winner and it's like
I can't think of a single battle royal I'd ever watch again, except maybe the first Andre the Giant battle royal. Maybe
I recently rewatched the WrestleMania 32 Andre Battle Royal.
that's the one with Sandow, right?
That's 31.
Oh, okay, then I don't know what 32 is.
32 is when Corbin won. It opens with Big Show and Shaq.
Oh yeah, Colin Jost was there.
That was a different year as well. That was 35.
Oh, okay.
Who's
All
your
right.
number 2 90s wrestler?
Oh, okay. Yeah, Razor Ramon. I think Razor Ramon's fantastic. He is a great worker. He's so fucking tall. You met him in person. You
Nice guy.
and
I think I already talked about it on the podcast.
you did, and you even said he's very tall. He's deceivingly tall. He's
He's
such a
very
huge
tall.
man.
It's not deceiving tall. I knew he was tall, but he's very tall.
He's so tall. But yeah, he's a great worker, and
This doesn't have to do with height.
he's a part of one of my favorite matches of all time.
This doesn't have to do with height, and he's not one of my favorite 90s wrestlers, but I'm just gonna mention him as like as like tall as Razor was, shaking DDP's hand is still the best handshake of my entire life. That guy is such a fucking firm handshake. Holy shit, that guy's so strong. I was like in awe of just I talk about that all the time, like you guys won't believe whose hand I shook that just still I think about. I've never thought about a handshake so much in my life as when I shook the hand of DDP.
Well, that's why you still haven't washed that hand, right?
Yeah, exactly. My number 390s is going to be Shawn Michaels. My number two, sorry. My number
Okay.
two, Shawn Michaels. He's fucking incredible.
Yes.
The master of the kip up. Screw you, Adam Page. He's the master of the kip up. He's the master of the super kick. Actually, I think there are better super kicks, but not back then.
Agreed.
His gimmick was great. He was one of the rockers. Did you know the Rockers? I don't know if you know this. The Rockers broke up because Shawn Michaels threw Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window.
That is insane. I did not know that.
Shawn Michaels would go on to have a Hall of Fame career with multiple world title wins, a Grand Slam champion, in fact.
What
Whereas
happened? What happened to his tag team partner?
Marty Jannetty,
Yeah.
he posted on Facebook asking fans if he should fuck his daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
great.
number 3, Marty Jannetty.
Didn't he say he got hacked? Didn't he try and say that? He was like,
No,
"Oh, I
that
got
was
hacked,"
something
or
else.
was that?
That
Or
was something else.
and then there was also that time that he said that he admitted to murdering a man that tried to kiss him or
That's
whatever,
that's
and
when
then
he
he
got
was
hacked.
like "Oh, I'm actually just working a character for an
Yeah.
upcoming wrestling show I'm booked for," and then
In the
people checked and he hadn't been booked for a wrestling show in like 4 years.
In the early morning hours of August 5th, 2020, Janetti made a Facebook post in which he said he made a man disappear when he was 13. Police in Columbus, Georgia confirmed that they would investigate the post. Jeanette later clarified that he did not kill the man, but he hit him in the head with a brick after an attempted sexual assault and made him disappear. The following month, Janetti said that his comments were part of a wrestling storyline in which he had to drop because of the police investigation.
Yeah, a storyline for what? He wasn't booked for anything.
Also, can we talk really quickly, not about that, it's just on his page. In July 2016, Janetti was a part of the huge class action lawsuit about,
Yeah,
concussions, all the
concussions.
risks.
Yeah.
The fucking lawyer's name was Constantine Kairos. And if that isn't the fucking best ring name of all time, like every time I'm reading that, I'm like, was this guy a wrestler turned attorney? No, he's just an attorney. He has the coolest fucking name. I imagine
So
Tomko.
instead of being a wrestler turned attorney, he should be an attorney turned wrestler, you're saying?
Yeah. You know Tomko? How well do
Yeah.
you remember? Can you close your eyes and picture Tomko?
Yes, Travis Tomko, aka Tyson Tomko. Yes, I
Yeah.
can. I'm closing
So,
my eyes. I'm picturing him right now. He's got the tattoos. He was very
yeah.
large and buff. He had the bald
Okay.
head. He
Now,
stood behind Christian.
do you remember the finisher from Slam City?
Yes.
He's the bad guy. He's
Yes.
in, yeah. Imagine Tomko in the finisher's suit. So the
He
shredded, the
would look
no
like
arm.
he'd look like Hitman.
He had no sleeves though.
He'd look like a buff Hitman.
Yeah, there were no sleeves though.
Okay, yeah.
And Hitman's actually pretty ripped. But anyway,
Yeah, but
he
he's
has
not super buff.
no. But that suit, but he's shredded. His arms are shredded because of how big he is. That's how I imagine Constantine Kairos. Also, like Deacon Batista. He reminds me of Deacon Batista.
Yeah. As someone who has seen 2 of the Hitman movies, of
Yeah.
the 2 that have been made, I didn't have anything else to add to that.
Okay.
I just was
Who's
saying
your
as someone.
from the 90s?
Dean Malenko.
Yeah,
I think
I
Dean
figured you'd get
Malenko
there.
is one of the most fantastic technical wrestlers of all time. And this is something I think a lot of people realize that as the podcast goes on, if people listen to this. I prefer technical wrestling over any type of style that there is, followed closely by Lucha Libre. I think those are my 2 favorite styles of all the styles of wrestling that there is. As you're thinking about 3, what is your favorite style of wrestling?
Oh, technical.
Oh, okay. I also like
I'm
2
tr
big beefy dudes slapping meat. You know, like kind of
I'm
like Big
trying to
E.
think. I mean, you want with Malenko. I'm trying to think of like WCW.
I weirdly had most of my favorites are WCW guys because I like the cruiserweight stuff.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to think of. Because like there are guys I like, but also I'm trying to think of what decade to use some of the guys for.
Yeah, like Jericho.
Yeah, like I don't want to use them for 90s. I'm gonna go with Mick Foley for number 3. He put his fucking body on the line every goddamn time. Like I know every wrestler does, but holy shit, that guy.
Yeah.
Also super nice when we met him, but that's
Yeah.
beside the point.
He was awesome to
Genuine,
me.
just oh my god. And like he had he was a hardcore guy. His style was not he isn't like a he's not a great anything style besides hardcore.
Yeah.
But holy shit,
Though
the show.
he's surprisingly better technical wrestler than you would ever give him credit for.
Yeah,
And he's also a very good bumper.
yeah.
While
But that's what I
also
mean.
being a terrible bumper because he never took bumps right.
Yeah. He put it on the line every match. He really knew what the entertainment was for, and it was because of how wrestling captured him when he was a kid.
Yes.
And so fucking awesome. Great. I love Mick Foley. Do you know how he got his finisher? Do you know Cactus Jack's finisher?
Uh
So Cactus Jack's finisher, when he got signed, they're like, "What's your finish, kid?" And he was like, "Oh, I use an elbow drop." And the promoter got fucking pissed. He was like, "No one uses an elbow drop. It's a bad finish. You're not doing an elbow drop." Jim Cornette came in and went, "You haven't seen this guy's fucking elbow drop. What he does, he doesn't do an elbow drop from the top rope. He throws him out on the concrete and he does it from the apron." And the promoter was like, "Oh shit, that's cool. I want to see that. You're going to do that tonight. You're going to lose the match. You're going to turn on your partner, hit that elbow." And the promoter walked away, and Mick Foley turned to Jim Cornette and was like, "So my finish is that I hit an elbow drop off the apron?" And he's like, "It is now, kid." And that was how he got his finish. Was Jim Cornette wanted, like, he was like, "They don't like this guy. He just wants to use an elbow drop." If you need the copy of For All Mankind, it's still here. I still have it sealed in the case to let John borrow it. From the day I moved into this apartment, when I was like, "John, you need to borrow this." It's right there. This is his autograph too. Who's your number 4?
yes. I'm gonna go with Jushin Thunder Liger.
Oh, that's very good.
I will be honest, I have not seen most of his Japanese matches from the 90s. But I have
But
seen
I
a lot
watched
of
his
his
Tyler Breeze match.
I've seen a lot of his WCW stuff, and I think he's just a wonderful wrestler. And I honestly thought about including him in the 2000s because I've seen more of his ROH stuff than anything. but I have too many 2000s wrestlers I like, so I put him in the 90s.
Everything was better in the 90s, and nobody got TV shows like these. Boy Meets World, Doug and the Rugrats.
I also like Doug. His best friend was Blue.
For number 4, we know my answer. I talk about him all the time. He's one of the best of all time.
Goldberg.
A well-deserved world champ that never got it. A missed opportunity. A WrestleMania main event guy that honestly, like, Stone Cold had 3 Rumble wins. You could have given this guy 6. We can say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Duke the Dumpster Drowsy. That's not it. That's who I plan to say. But in setting that up, I realized someone I did want to say that I thought of earlier. I'm gonna go with Goldust. I fucking love Goldust.
Okay.
I honestly, like, when he came back in 2013, I think that was his prime. He was in the best shape of his life, and he's fucking killing it.
Yeah.
He has such long legs. He's like Conan. His legs are so long.
They're very long. Yeah, because Conan has to wear his pants up to here.
Yeah, it's just one of his jokes.
One of his 3 jokes that he has that you always
Yeah.
had, and he's an old timey. What's his joke that he was on the radio?
Yeah, he has his other 2 jokes are that back when he was on SNL, they were still on the radio. It's that, or he'll say when I worked for SNL, we were still in black and white.
And he also has his other joke is that he does his old timey voice.
Yeah, and he does that little boy or whatever impression.
Yeah.
Do you remember my impression?
He's got five jokes, I think.
I still think one of my favorite bits that I would love.
Oh, he does that thing too where he goes.
Yeah. I still really want to do. I would love to do my bit to him. Do you remember when I did the bit? It's Conan giving a eulogy. He comes up and he does his little marionette puppet dance
with the tassels and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who's your number 5?
This is something I'm really thinking hardcore about.
I have like 3 I could say tied.
Okay, I'll go Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
I like him. I think his peak was in the 90s. In WCW, I think he did some of his best work. He's a good little luchador guy. He does good lucha things too, sometimes with lucha stuff.
I was gonna say him. You also prefer him in the 90s or now because he doesn't wear the stupid pants.
Yes, I do not like his WWE first run pants. They were awful. I like tights.
I have like a big tie for 5. I know who my answer is, but I'll run through the alternatives. If I could do if I could do a team as one,
you can do a team as one.
It'd be BSK.
Okay, you can do a tag team as one, but not stable. Because we cannot get into that on this podcast. It is not allowed.
We can't ever talk BSK.
No, not in the way that we do off the podcast.
I want a BSK episode. I also obviously I love him. He's my pal. He loves penis. Val Venus.
Val Venus is a terrible person in real life.
Not a good dude.
No,
my real number 5.
The one cool thing about him is that he smokes weed, but he's a terrible guy.
My real number 5 that I thought of, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay, yeah.
Fucking incredible. Yeah, he's such a good wrestler.
He's very cool.
Bastion Booger, I think, has one of the greatest attires in wrestling history. I
prefer his run as Friar Ferguson.
Genuinely don't know how Bastion Booger didn't make a world champ.
Because I don't understand who can look at that and go, yeah, send that guy out in that. Like, it is the single worst wrestling attire I've ever seen. I would rather book the Mantar as a world champ than to look at Bastion Booger in his stupid duct tape fucking attire. It's the worst thing. He's got like, it's like 2 pieces of duct tape holding his stomach up, then also going across his boobs to make it look like he has boobs. And then he's also got like just 2 random pieces of duct tape across his wrists, and he's wearing like a diaper made out of duct tape. It's literally the worst thing. I've never seen the guy. I've only seen the one picture of him. But I imagine if I saw his full body, I imagine his boots look like duct tape too.
The color is what does it for me. It's the color that's gross to me, but it's booger colored. Okay, I will go first for 2000s because you went first for 90s. I'm not gonna go in a particular order for 2000s as well, but Chris Benoit.
My God.
Putting it out there because he's fucking incredible.
People were just talking about this. He was literally just trending on Twitter a couple days ago, but you probably didn't have Wi-Fi, so you didn't
I
see
didn't
it.
have Wi-Fi. I would have chimed in,
Yeah,
but everybody shut up. He's great.
yeah,
He's very, to me, you know what he is in my mind?
what?
This is
Not a
a horrible,
murderer?
this is a horrible thing to say, but you know,
A great
you gotta separate the art from the artist, and he was a damn good artist.
2000s. So this is to me ruthless aggression. So,
Yeah, and
um,
this is also when you get like ROH was on such an upswing, and MTNA, like we have so many promotions now.
yeah. Because I have five I want to use later, I'm gonna put Christian as my number
Yeah,
one of the 2000s. Christian is one of the best wrestlers of all time.
yeah, he really is.
He really, really is. He's under Christian recognized. That was a pun.
What was that a pun of?
What?
What does it even mean? He's under Christian recognized. It's not a pun. This is the stupidest thing you've ever said. You know what? I gotta go. I gotta give it to my boy Jeff Hardy. He's
Okay.
so good. He's so good. Did you not hear me say it the first time?
I accidentally muted you.
Okay. Jeff Hardy is so good. Do I have to restate my whole thing? Because I had like an
No, no, no,
intro to
no,
that.
no. You said Jeff Hardy. I heard you.
You didn't mute me on this? Or just for you?
Yeah, just in my headset, I couldn't hear
Okay.
you. Yeah,
Okay. I love Jeff Hardy so much. He's so good.
he's a very good wrestler. His match with Undertaker. Do you remember that? It's a ladder
Yeah.
match. It's from
Oh
like
three.
2002.
Oh three.
Okay. Yes.
Incredible. Winning he has, god damn it, if not the best camera cut of all time is him winning the WWE championship for the first time. I don't know if you've watched that match. There's no better camera work in wrestling history, I don't think.
I know what the best camera work in WWE history is.
Huh.
The cameraman who fails to catch the Undertaker.
Okay, no. Oh my god, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if you've watched Armageddon '09 when Hardy wins the title, but it's like
No, I've seen Payback 2009.
Triple H hits a pedigree on Edge and covers Edge, and it's 1-2, and out of fucking nowhere with the perfect camera angle, Jeff Hardy hits the swanton. Edge rolls out of the ring, he covers Triple H and becomes champ. It looks so good because a lot of times in wrestling, you can kind of see the guys moving in the background. You go, oh, they're about to come back and break up this pin or whatever. Jeff was nowhere in sight.
That is
Who's your
cool.
number? Who's your number three?
Number three or my number two?
Your number two. Sorry, I forgot you went second this time.
It's really hard to think of things on the spot, isn't it?
Well, you planned this episode with no prep.
Very little prep, and by little I mean I had no. Okay. I'll put Undertaker in the 2000s.
Yeah,
That
you're
was
giving
that
it
was
that.
his that was his best decade because he was trash in the 90s. Yeah, it's 2000s. I'll put Undertaker number two. He's great. I don't like him personally, but as a wrestler, he's pretty cool. Except his entrance, I hate his entrance. Pick it up, old man. Nobody's
I
got
wish
five
I
minutes.
I wish I could have been a wrestling fan in the thousands when Taker got to wrestle Kali. I would have loved to be there live for that. Just the entrances alone. Fucking a 10-minute goddamn walk between the two of them. God, what a sight that would have been live.
Would you have timed it on your Nokia?
Probably. Probably Nokia. They have timers on Nokias?
I don't remember. You could play Snake
Yeah.
or that parachute game that I liked. I can't remember. It was probably just called Parachute.
My number three, I gotta say it, Randy Orton. I legitimately think he's just one of the greatest of all time.
In the 2000s, though, what did he do? Name me three things he did in the 2000s.
Evolution, legacy, youngest world champion of all time.
I feel like some of those things are lies. But was he ever an intercontinental champion?
Yeah, they just can't talk about it.
Was he ever a
Oh no, they can talk about his IC. he's a Grand Slam. They can't talk about when he won. They can't show the match that he won his first World Heavyweight Championship in to become the youngest world champ.
Yeah, they can only show. They can't show the pin. They can only show him celebrating.
They actually recently showed. They actually did. I can't remember what it was in. It was in the. I think it was in the lead up for him versus Edge for the greatest fucking match of all time or whatever. I think they actually was the
Oh
first
yeah, you
time
got it right. That's what it was called.
it was the first time they actually showed they did show him hooking the pin. And so you got to see Benoit's leg.
Wow, greatest fucking match of all time or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm giving him the thousands over the tens because he kind of dicked around at the tail of the tens.
I
Uh,
guess.
all the Wyatt family stuff, and he fucking like he lost to Jinder Mahal multiple times.
Here for like 3 pay-per-views in a row.
Yeah, and then at WrestleMania the next year. So
Yeah,
I can't give him the tens, but I'll give him the thousands because it's like you watch his entire career as the thousands, and it's like
it's better than Cena.
just watching a fucking star. Yeah. Who's your number three? And I'm thinking of so many.
Really? Because I can't think of any. Oh, Rob Van Dam.
That's good.
RVD. I like that guy between you and me. And if you add Sabu, that makes 3.
You add in Sabu?
No, I just added his name for a rhyme. But yeah, I like RVD. I think he's really cool. And Rolling Thunder is a great match. And move, I meant to say. And I like the guy. Yeah. Oh, Regal. He's another one. He's pretty cool.
Well, it's not your turn.
I know. He just popped into my head.
My number four. God, it's like we're down to the wire. I'm trying to think. I don't remember who I was going to say for number five because I had a really solid five. My number four, I am going to give Shelton Benjamin.
I knew you were gonna say him.
I just remembered who my number five was too.
I can
Shelton
guess your number 5. Your number 5, Carlito.
No.
Okay.
Shelton Benjamin is so good. He should have been the first Black World Champion, WB champion. Oh my God, that man is incredible. Ahead of his time. Legitimately ahead of his time.
He took the best super kick of all time too.
And at the same time, I don't like it because it's literally just a jump into a super kick.
Yeah.
Who's your number four?
Ah, what the hell? I'll put Chris Jericho.
Right, I was gonna say Jericho.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure all 5 of my teens picked out, so put Jericho there. He's a good wrestler. He's another wrestler I don't like personally, but I like him as a wrestler. He's one of the best, and he's had so many good gimmicks.
I was gonna say him too, and now I'm contemplating over my five. Just to be different from you, I'm gonna go with Kurt Angle.
I was gonna say Eric Angle.
Kurt Angle, I think, is just one of the best of all time. One of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, and 2008 was really his like prime year.
I thought the Wrestling Machine in ECW was really good, and kind of the TNA scene, and
Yeah.
was killing it there.
Yeah,
Never one for great mic work, but incredible in the ring.
he had some good mic work. He just wasn't known for. He's better at improv than he is when they try and give him a script. Like when he was the general manager of Raw.
Horrible.
Oh my God.
Who's your five?
AJ Styles.
You're using him for the thousands?
Yeah.
Move on to the tens. Who's your one?
CM Punk's my number 1 in the 2010s. He's the guy who, as we talked about in episode 1, got me into wrestling. Who's yours?
AJ Styles. He's fucking incredible. And the reason I'm giving him the tens over the thousands is because I love his 2012 haircut. His like emo fucking hair looks
Yep.
so cool. I want it back so bad. I don't care that he's old now and it probably wouldn't work. I want it. It's all I want from. I remember he said that his like long hair. He's like, I'm just gonna keep growing it till my wife gets mad at me. I want his wife to get mad at him already. I don't like it. I hate when wrestlers get too long of hair.
Okay.
Because you're
My second is Bryan Danielson.
Now in 2010s, he was Daniel Bryan the whole decade.
Pretty much, yes.
No, literally the entire decade.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, except for the 6 months he got fired.
He didn't go back and do anything, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he wrestled. Then he came back.
I didn't think it was that long. 6 months.
I think it was 6 months or so, something like that.
He came back for SummerSlam, right? I thought it was only a few months. I don't think he ever wrestled. I didn't think he wrestled.
He definitely wrestled. Well, okay, yeah, Daniel Bryan, whatever. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time. So, who's
I'm surprised
next?
year I'm surprised year 5 for the tens isn't like CM Punk, Tensai, Sheamus, Yoshitatsu. I gotta go with. I mean, I'm gonna say him eventually, so I'll go with D-Bry.
Okay,
D-Bry.
yeah, I
Yeah,
figured you would.
yeah, he's there, so you're talking about him. Might as well get him out of the way.
Yeah, and he won WrestleMania 30, which was also an idea I had for this episode.
I like how you always say that, like he won WrestleMania 30.
He
He
did
won.
win WrestleMania 30. He won 2 matches at WrestleMania 30. So my next wrestler,
Yeah, number 3.
Tyson Kidd. Just one of the greatest wrestlers that's ever existed. He was so funny and so charming. Like he was unbelievably funny. Like even on WWE TV when he would do his promos and stuff, he was so funny. But then you watch him on Total Divas and he's so dry and sarcastic and he's just God,
Although
such a funny guy.
also had the best match of his career against Daniel Bryan
Yeah.
on Saturday Morning Slam.
I wouldn't call it the
Also,
best of his career, but
can we also, while we're talking about Daniel Bryan, is there another wrestler in the world that has wrestled as many bears as Daniel Bryan?
Harley
And,
Race, he's
and if
wrestled the
that,
bear.
and if that doesn't give Daniel Bryan the whole decade, that's the best moment in his career.
Who's your next?
I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes. I've
I
been a
knew it.
huge Cody Rhodes mark since I started watching wrestling. I even got behind the mustache. No one was behind the mustache. And then all the work he did outside of W. And I'm not talking about the AEW stuff. I'm just talking about the indie stuff afterwards.
I thought you meant like Arrow.
You know that they named the drug that his character created Stardust?
Yes, I know that.
Also, yeah, Stardust is awesome. I'll say it.
No, it's
I think
not.
it's a great gimmick. I bought the gloves. I was gonna buy a coat. I think Stardust should have been a world champion. I am a booked Stardust. I could give you a year of Stardust storytelling. He wins the Rumble
I don't want to
right
hear
off
this.
right off the bat. He wins the Rumble to start the year. He main events WrestleMania. He wins the world title. Then we get the
All
Stardust,
right, you
just
talk for a minute and book this.
the Stardust era. The Stardust, like, he's from the fifth dimension, and I want the fifth dimension to take over WWE. I want this to go so far. I want Stardust to face like Shane or Triple H in a match where winner gets control of the WWE and Stardust wins. I want a takeover of the WWE with the Stardust character. This could also work for Bray Wyatt. I think that could also work really well for Bray. Like if he beat Triple H, he got control. Then we had like a Wyatt family takeover, and
What
like
about
that
Killer
would
Cross?
no, because
TikTok.
what's cool about Bray Wyatt is like what I think would be awesome about Bray Wyatt's takeover, even though I'm not talking about Stardust anymore, is but Bray Wyatt's takeover is like, yeah, he could beat Triple H, get control of WWE, and then I would literally want like the stage design to change, and like I want the ring aprons to be like tethered, like they're all cut up and shit. Like he put them on fire, and there's cult people all around. The refs could be dressed differently. Like I think that could be just a really cool storyline. But yeah, I think Stardust could do the same thing because it's all this space shit you could do. I also really want a Stardust versus Stin match. I think that would be a cool match. And like, I don't know. The whole thing with Stardust was he wanted the cosmic key and he got the world title. That was the cosmic key. And then he got the company. And that the key opened the gates to that. And now he runs the company. And he's just so fucking shenanigan-y. Who's your number 4?
Well, I've been thinking about this long and hard. That's what she said. And I'm going with Kazuchika Okada. I think he's one of the best wrestlers that's ever existed. I like legitimately think he is incredible as a wrestler. And I've seen more of his matches from that decade than any other.
I guess I have to say it now. What number am I on? I'm on 4.
I believe yes.
Yeah, I gotta go with Ricochet.
I knew you were gonna pick Ricochet.
He's my favorite. Like, he's just so fucking good.
Yeah. He is pretty good, and he had his most notorious match in that decade with Will Ospreay.
Him versus Johnny Mundo in the first episode of Lucha Underground too.
Oh my
Like,
god, that
holy
match
shit.
is that match is insane. But that's not
Holy
Ricochet.
shit.
That's not Ricochet. That's Prince
It's
Puma.
Yeah, what he's one of those guys that I watch and I'm just like, how are fucking humans doing this sport?
Yeah.
How? Who's your five?
I have to be honest with you. I've got a few ideas of who I could put at five, but I have to go with my heart, and I'm going with the Ryback.
No, you're not.
I am choosing the Ryback as
I am
my
not
fifth.
allowing it. I'm not
I
allowing it. I
he's
am
one of
not
my
allowing it. You are gonna get this podcast canceled. I'm not
he is one
allowing it.
of he is one of my favorite big men in wrestling history. I think
I'm not allowing it.
his gimmick was fantastic. The
I'm
Feed Me
not
More.
allowing it.
He could have beat Punk's reign as the world
I'm
title
not
champion, and
allowing it.
I wouldn't have batted an eye.
You
Uh,
would have. You were very upset about it back in the day.
he he was on fire for a while, and I
I'm
loved
not.
his stuff as the pre-show stopper. Like he was so great.
I'm not allowing it. No, I need a different answer.
So I get to choose six.
No, you get to choose seven. I'm not allowing Ryback.
I get to choose seven. What do you mean?
What?
I said I'm allowed to choose six, and you said no, you're allowed to choose seven.
No, I said I'm. I said no. I said you're no. I don't know what I said. You got me hot.
Well, if you are allowing me to pick a sixth because the Ryback is my fifth, then I will choose Aleister Black,
Yeah.
who is, one of the best wrestlers to ever walk this planet, Earth. And I
Well, I
think
got a
he's better than Bruno Sammartino.
well, I got a five.
Okay.
I got a couple notes before I say my five. I think we should do this episode again a little later and we prep it.
Yeah.
But also, I was gonna say Buddy Matthews or Murphy because he's great.
Okay.
There's a lot of names I could say. I could say Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I could say, I could have said Punk.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I could have said Bray Wyatt. I think he's great. I could say Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
But there's something that we
The
kind of
Ryback, pretty good.
no, we kind of fucked up.
I don't know why you don't like Ryback. I
We
truly
kind of
don't.
we kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And we said that we were doing the top wrestlers and we only named men.
You are right.
And
I'm just realizing that.
some of the decades it worked. Most of the decades it worked. But for my number five, I'm legitimately going with AJ Lee. I think she's one of the greatest female wrestlers in the world. And I think she's the reason the women's revolution did what it did. She was great on the mic. She ended like the whole pee break joke because she was actually an entertaining part of the show that you wanted to tune into every week.
AJ Lee and Sasha Banks would be my two choices. Like top women of all time. And Paige.
I don't think Sasha's up. Sasha's not that high up there for me.
That's insane.
I like her, but there's more I like. I like Bailey over Sasha.
Sasha has so much star power. I don't even understand how she contains it.
Alexa, Tony Storm. There's so many to me, but I gotta go with AJ Lee. I gotta give it to her. She was so good. She made out with all the men. She's kissed so many men.
And you're jealous. I like the Ryback.
No.
I know in my heart of hearts he's number five.
No one, I don't get why you can't just get over it. I don't know. You're like, oh, I don't like Jericho as a person, but he's a great wrestler. Why can't you get over it for Ryback? Why can't you look at them and go, hey, what he says is really bad?
Because he's great in the ring. Why do you like Chris Benoit? He murdered someone.
Dude, Ryback wasn't very good. All of his matches were like 3 minutes long. He was just Goldberg. He wrestled about as good as Goldberg.
Oh, he's way better than Goldberg.
More than half his match was him just yelling, "Feed me more," by the way. Then he dicked around in Ryback for way too long. And I'm a huge Curtis Axel mark. And then he did like the fucking U.S. title pursuit that just seemed to never end, and then he just got fired.
No, do you remember when he was the Intercontinental Champion for 84 days?
Yeah, I don't like to because it was a fucking worthless reign. He just won a
No, it was the best Intercontinental Championship reign that ever happened after Daniel Bryan had to vacate the title due to injury. And because it's the best reign that ever happened in those circumstances, you can't deny that Ryback is one of the best Intercontinental Champions of all time that held it for 84 days.
I can deny it as much
And
as I
do you
want.
remember his feud with Kalisto? Like, dude, it
Yeah,
was so good.
it went on for so long, and
Yeah,
it didn't
two
need to.
pay-per-views. Two pay-per-views in a
I
row.
think it was three, wasn't it?
No, they wrestled at WrestleMania, and then they wrestled at the one after WrestleMania. It was probably
Payback,
Extreme Rules.
payback.
Was it Payback in that year?
Oh, I don't know.
Is the year of our Lord 2016. Ryback lost to Kalisto, and that was his last match because the next night at Raw, he demanded equal pay to what John Cena makes, and they fired him.
He doesn't deserve equal pay to what John Cena makes.
I think he did. He was a money mover.
He was not.
He was so over you could move clouds.
He was
Anyway,
not over at the time that he left.
2020s.
We can't predict the genre. I fucking think Nicholas is going to be my favorite wrestler of 2020s.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start. Ray Fenix is my number one of the 2020s. Dude's fantastic. He's been killing it so far. I literally don't think I've ever seen a bad match with Ray Fenix. He's phenomenal. Just a
You,
phenomenal athlete.
no, that was Penta. I was like, you just said you didn't like the Roosh match. If I don't know if I have to go 2020s, it's barely happening, but I'm gonna give it to Buddy Matthews. I don't want to surf him here.
Okay, so my second, I'm going with the tag team, Young Bucks, because they're incredible, and I'm the biggest mark for them.
Don't you think they've been better? That could be. I think that should be a different episode of tag teams. I think they were probably better in the 10 so far than they have. We don't know what they're going to get into this decade.
Yeah, but just they had the best tag team match I've ever seen in this decade.
Yeah, but I want to do it different. I think tag teams can be a next episode.
All right, well then Kenny Omega will be my second. Kenny Omega's been killing it. He was gonna be my third choice, but he'll be my second. He's fantastic.
He's been killing it on the bench.
Yeah, that's true. He's been on the bench for a long time, but outside of that, he was amazing.
You know, all those people tweet
And
like
when
they,
you learn how injured he was and the fact that he was still working the level he was, oh my God.
those people that tweet like every day, like day 193 of missing Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
I should start a one that's me tweeting day whatever we're at of not missing Kenny Omega because I love that Kenny Omega is not on my TV screen every week.
I don't know why you don't like Kenny Omega. You're
I
insane for not liking him.
There's too many. There's so many wrestlers that can just do what he does.
No, there's not.
Give Dave Dutra the world title, you fucking cowards.
Nobody likes Dave Dutra.
I like Dave Dutra. I could get Dave Dutra on this podcast.
If you do, that'd be awesome.
No, you don't get to talk to him.
Okay.
He replaces you. I'm gonna marry his sister and rename this podcast Brothers-in-Laws in Tights. And they go, why'd you change the name? He goes, my brother didn't like Dave Dutra, so I married his sister so we could be brothers-in-laws.
Brothers-in-laws in tights.
I don't know. I don't know when he's gonna return to wrestling, but like Johnny Gargano, if he does, he's gonna fucking kill it this decade.
Yeah, he probably has been killing it this decade. You act like it just started, but we're 3 years in.
Well, I just want to do closed decades.
Sting.
Sting, you're really gonna get Sting?
Yeah. Sting's my number 3. We'll just pick 3 for this decade.
I mean,
Jungle Boy. He's another one. Darby's another one. There's so many.
I have 5. I have 5.
I have 5 too.
I'll roll them off. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
I'm gonna say, who have I said so far? I said Ray and Johnny Gargano and Matthews.
Sure.
So I have 2 more. I have OC, Orange Cassidy, and of course, I can't believe I didn't mention him for the 10s. Adam Cole, baby.
You think he's better than Ryback?
Yes. I want to get Ryback on this podcast and go, hey, you have what's he called, an NDA? I want him to have an NDA, but it means that not that he can't talk about anything that happens on the podcast, is he can't talk. He has to sit here and listen to what I have to say to him.
Why? If we had the Ryback on this podcast, I'd have so many questions.
I'd like start it casually, like, yeah, one of our first matches, you versus JDG. What can you tell us about that match? And your feud with Jinder Mahal. Jinder was a world champion, you weren't. And I'm okay with that. I accept that fact.
I'm
And then I
not
just
okay with that.
go off.
He was a missed opportunity. I think Ryback could have gotten more fans in India than Jinder ever could have.
No.
All right, so that was our top 50 favorite wrestlers
Top
of all time.
50. Is that how many it was?
I don't know.
80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, 20s. That was 30.
No.
We covered 22
5,
decades.
10, 15, 20, 25. Right?
25. 25,
Plus
not 30.
mine. Plus mine.
No.
So top 50. Yes.
Yeah, but it's not. We didn't each give 50. I'm not doing it. And I wouldn't say that some of those. I wouldn't say that Bam Bam's in my top 25 of all time. He just was for the decade.
Okay.
I don't remember what I was gonna say. We covered our top 5
50.
wrestlers from every decade.
50 wrestlers of every decade. We did it.
We didn't do 50 of every decade. That's what I was saying. Is we covered.
Have you ever seen those What Culture videos on YouTube where it's like every Intercontinental Championship ranked, and it's like a 4-hour video? Ours is top 50 favorite wrestlers of every decade.
It's Cultaholic.
From 1901 to 2021.
Cultaholic just posted one. I don't remember what it was, but I did want to watch it. I also never fall asleep watching one of those because it's just gonna keep auto playing those.
The longest ones.
And so you wake up 4 videos later and you're like, what the fuck?
You're like 3.5 hours into a video.
I didn't even get to watch this. Yeah, we covered 22 decades of wrestling, gave all our favorites. We'll see what next week brings us. Possibly tag teams, possibly finishers.
I want to watch a WCW pay-per-view.
When we have time to do that together. So
we don't have to do it together. We can do it in our spare time.
I'm watching World War III next to you. This has been Brothers in Tights, a professional wrestling podcast recorded live in a local facility. I've been Lex Dahl.
I'm Bat Tracy. Sometimes spooky, always lovable.
You didn't put Danhausen. You didn't put Danhausen in any of your ranks.
Oh yeah, I was gonna put him in the 2020s. Actually, I completely forgot. You can follow me at BatTracy01 on everything except TikTok as Bat Loves Movies. Go check out my other podcast, Our Dads Are Brothers, my more successful podcast. This is my less successful podcast.
This is your less successful, but it's the
it's more loosey goosey.
No, it's the main priority.
Yeah. It's more loosey-goosey.
It's the priority podcast. Random Wrestler Generator Showdown.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
We always forget about it. And okay, who's your 6?
Starting off?
Yeah.
John Cena, The Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant, Dusty Rhodes, Shawn Michaels, and Bob Backlund.
I have Shawn Michaels, Dwayne Johnson, Christian Cage, The Undertaker, Sting, and Randy Orton.
You have a better 6 than I do.
A very good 6. You can do a -1 quantity?
I have 4 pretty good wrestlers.
Oh, so if you do a -1 quantity, it just recycles 6. I got pretty good 6. Quantity 1 and generate. Who's your first one? Who do you got?
Let me type in 1. All right, I got Edge.
Okay. I know you would let anyone go over Edge. I got Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, so... And they've both been world champions before, so who cares? I'd give it to Shawn.
Edge technically has more world title reigns, I think.
Yeah, he probably does, but he
also is one of the most decorated wrestlers in WWE history, too.
But all of his, outside of R-Truth, but all of his world title reigns are like, they add up to be like 90 days or something like that. Like,
also, it's a really good thing that Jerry Lawler's all of his championship reigns aren't recognized by WWE. That guy's like a 50-time world champ or whatever, 36 in the one belt alone.
It's insane.
Remember, we added that up. We could do an entire episode about Jerry Lawler's championships. That was the Random Wrestling Showdown.
Let's generate once more.
Oh, we're generating once more?
Yeah.
I got Diamond Dallas Page.
I got Ric Flair.
Oh.
So what title is it? We never is it the WWE world title?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Like, we're picking who would we give the title to?
Oh,
Which
I think
title is it?
I think it's the bit title. It's our title.
Well, I'd give it to DDP,
Haven't you had Flair before?
maybe.
Goldberg is no, not Goldberg is good. EDP is good. Started
Yeah.
young, 42, got into the industry.
Well, that's when he became a wrestler. No, he was 36 when he started to train to be a wrestler, wasn't he?
I don't think
I think he was 42 when he won his first title.
I thought he was 42 when he debuted. Let me look.
So he was born in 1956, and so if he debuted as a manager in 1991. But when did he drive the car to WrestleMania?
That was
It was like 88, wasn't it?
WrestleMania 6, 1990.
So he was 34 in 1990.
So he started training. It says right here he headed to the power plant at 35. He debuted as a wrestler in a tag team match later that year. Share my screen to show you this wrestler.
Sure. What's that?
This is Oliver.
Oliver Humperdinck.
He was a wrestler manager. I love him. I love him so much.
Who was he a manager for?
DDP,
Was he?
apparently. Before that match took place, Page unveiled the stable's new road manager, Big Daddy Dink, formerly known as Oliver Humperdinck.
Big Daddy Dink.
During this match, Page introduced the Diamond Dolls.
Diamond Dallas Page's gimmick when he first started was awful.
Oliver Humperdinck has worse rid names than that, if you can believe it.
All right, read him to me.
Red Sutton, that's his last name, Sutton, so it's not horrible.
All right.
This might be my favorite one, the Big Kahuna.
Okay.
Sir Oliver Humperdinck, Big Daddy Dink.
Yep.
Do that one. And my also favorite, Rooster Humperdinck.
Oh my God. Who comes up with bad gimmick names? Like who looks at that and goes, yeah, that's gonna draw people in and make me money?
Don Jardine and Dale Hay, who is Buddy Roberts, came up with the name Sir Oliver Humperdinck. Jardine claims to have come up with the name, believing that it would draw heat from francophone fans in Quebec who hated anything English. He formed a stable called the House of Humperdinck. I recognize him. I've seen him before. I just couldn't connect his name.
If you would have showed me a picture of him, I would never have been like, oh, that's Oliver Humperdinck.
His debut is
Famed.
fun. His debut is funny on the Wikipedia page. It says debut 1965, parentheses, involved in business, 1973 officially.
What does that mean?
What is that fucking like 8-year gap?
He was just involved in the business, but unofficially.
He never married or had children. That's pretty sad.
Is it?
In the 1960s, Sutton was in a car crash and nearly died when he hit a snowbank. After recovering from the incident, his health deteriorated. In 2001, he went through surgery to replace his aortic valve in Key West. He was equipped with a pacemaker and made a full recovery. The Cauliflower Alley Club, whose conventions he attended every year, helped pay for some of his medical expenses. Sutton returned to the hospital in 2008 after heart troubles complicated by a case of pneumonia. In early 2011, it was announced that Sutton was diagnosed with cancer of the bladder. He entered a hospice after been refused chemotherapy and radiotherapy. Sutton died early on the morning of March 20th, 2011. Complications from pneumonia and cancer at the age of 62. Sutton never married or had children.
Wow.
Okay, let's call this episode.
Yeah.
You gotta edit it.
I said all my things, so.
Oh yeah, I'm not giving my Instagram out anymore. I don't use it. My Twitter is at 80Dal, and my TikTok is Kesha was taken.
The best username in TikTok
Yeah.
history?
Yep. There's no
Yeah.
better.
So you got to get this on Amazon and Apple, by the way.
Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay. That's all, I think.
That's all.
All right.
That is all.
Next week, World War X.
World War III?
World War Lex.
Okay.